What's your take on all this?
That word or
Anything, dude. Like anything involving.
I think, in short, our generation cares way too much about groupthink because of social media and the weak-ass psychological response of receiving a like on Instagram and the popularity contest that comes from that and the evolutionary psychology behind groupthink of it increases your chance of survival. So we are too worried about what other people think because we think that it threatens our survival even though we don't live in no caveman days. And saying that, we are too worried about oppression that's not there like it used to be. We are probably in one of the most fair societies that have graced the earth that's multicultural. In all of history, there's not been any multicultural places like this that are fair like this. Like Rome, maybe, Ethiopia in the past, Egypt in the past. But those are places all on the Silk Road, so they're very multicultural. But you look at anywhere else, man, the oppression thing, we just want to feel like our ancestors and think that we're fighting for something. You remember when they were wearing all the black berets at the blackface thing and they were like acting like Black Panthers? There's a quote, I don't remember how it exactly goes, but it goes like, those who do not experience hard times seek hard times. That's exactly what our culture is doing. We are seeking hard times. It's not that bad. It's just not. I mean, there's bad places, yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see what you're saying, but at the same time, I do feel like there are some people in this country, in our society, that are still stuck in those old ways prior to the 1960s.
But you can't get rid of that. You'll never be able to get rid of that.
I know it'll be hard to, because the thing about change is it's up to the individual to decide if they want to change their ideology or perspective, you know, because not everybody's going to want to change. A lot of people are oftentimes way too comfortable or way too addicted to the ways they've known their whole life, and change is really difficult for them.
So what's your ideal society? What's your ideal thing?
You know, I do believe equity is important, because I feel like there's still a lot of laws, like housing laws, that still put certain people of color at disadvantages. Like, we can still get housing and stuff, but we have to work, in my opinion, harder to try to get housing and get real estate to build equity. But yeah, you know, just everybody who fills out a housing application, get rid of the race questions. Just whoever applies and whoever qualifies gets the house, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is get rid of gentrification. That's another thing that...
Get rid of gentrification?
I mean...
Oh, man.
How I see it is, if anything, try to figure out how to preserve those historic cultural artifacts and places, and instead of tearing them down and rebuilding them into something new. I feel like you shouldn't get rid of history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, you're on the same side of the aisle as a lot of the Confederates down south. They're like, don't get rid of the history with statues. But gentrification is a sole thing that's based on buy low, sell high. If those areas, due to the behavior of that culture, you never see Asian places getting gentrified, and you never see Jewish places getting gentrified. Never. Why is that? Because they take care of their own stuff, they keep up the home values, and they worry about themselves. You see black places get gentrified, Mexican places get gentrified, poor white people places get gentrified. Why? It's because they're not taking care of themselves, they're not taking care of the property values, they're not taking care of the houses. So then, if I, with more money in a free market, come in and say, hey, can I buy this from you? You're like, yeah, sure. You sell it to me.
Yeah.
How are you going to stop that?
You can't.
You can't, because it's buy low, sell high. So you don't need to stop telling people, stop buying these houses. You need to start telling the people who own the house to start taking care of your houses.
So that way it can lift the value. Yeah, exactly.
That's their problem.
That's what we need to do. We need to start having, whether it be in school or out after school or outside of school, anywhere, just educate people on the value of taking care of the property you have, so that way it goes up in value. There's a lot of places in the hood that are run down in cities across America. It's like, if these people decide, all right, let's fix this up, let's go to Home Depot or let's go to Lowe's, buy stuff to fix up the property, it's gonna go up in value. And the thing is, if somebody wants to buy it, then you'll be able to sell it and try to sell it to people that, in my opinion, fit what the place has, to an extent, been historically represented by. We gotta do a better job of learning the financing part of things and all that stuff. Yeah.
was YouTube. So
Well, yeah.
it was a great chance for that, or a great opportunity for that.
Yeah.
So the way that black culture is in the world, in America, not the world, is stay right above the waterline, but just enough to show off your new chain. You look at other cultures and it's, I need to get out of this water. But black culture is, I'm gonna pay my rent, I'm gonna pay just enough to where I can buy something new. And Dr. Umar Johnson talks about this a lot, you know?
Yeah, I know about Dr. Umar. He's a funny guy sometimes too.
Yeah, he's funny, but I mean, who's flawless?
Yeah.
There's no perfect person.
No, without a doubt. I agree.
And he talks about how the black dollar does not remain in circulation, so that's on us. We can't keep asking the government for help at all. We need some sort of accountability.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's not one rich black neighborhood in the world, I mean in America, that you can think of off the top of your mind.
Not even in a place like Atlanta where.
Like Atlanta's got rich black people, what neighborhood, you know?
They're probably like throughout the city, dude. Atlanta's a black city, so it's, everything's spread out. But what I'm thinking is, but yeah, like you're saying, for example, rappers, they buy chains instead of using their money to buy property, to like invest back into their communities instead.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you not know the power of owning land, owning real estate, and owning businesses? That's investing back into your community to try to help it grow and improve. Eventually you'll have money to fund schools better for after school programs versus funding our corrupt police system. Try to educate people more to think for themselves. But I think that's another problem is the school system. The school system doesn't teach you to think for yourself. You have to figure that out on your own. The school just teaches
Yeah, how
you.
are you going to get taught to think for yourself? You have to learn that on your own.
Exactly.
There's no school system in the world that's going to teach you to think on your own. Think about it. There's no system in the world that's going to teach you that. They're going to teach you how to do an equation. The rest is up to you.
Yeah, I was thinking is, I've always wanted to see if the school systems teach people how to do their taxes, but apparently there's a loophole that says, oh, schools don't like to teach people how to do their taxes because that's a government thing. If somebody messes up and they're like, oh, I learned how to do it in school, it falls back not only on the school, but maybe even the school district or the State Department of Education. It's like a whole mess. Dude, we got to figure out the financing part. Like I said, figure out where we should spend our money, invest our money. Because like you're saying, a lot of times in the African American communities here in America, the dollar does not stay in circulation, for example. A lot of times, money will go towards designer stuff or towards new cars that come from corporations that are making billions of dollars a year instead of investing in local black and brown owned businesses like restaurants or clothing stores or whatever they're passionate about to try to help grow that and start building the wealth. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, that we got to figure out how to start investing money into ourselves as a community, like in black and brown communities.
I agree. I mean, it's going to take accountability.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have to hold ourselves accountable. Like, we have to admit, oh, we've spent money buying Air Force Ones from Nike, recycling a pair of white Air Force Ones. A lot of us are, oh, we spent too much money on Gucci or designer, or we spent too much money on a 24 karat gold chain. Dude, those material things, they're cool and all, but what's that going to really do for you, you know? In my opinion, what I'm seeing is people need to start investing in experiences more. Travel the world, try to have different perspectives, to try to have an understanding. You'll learn more, I think, in my opinion, by traveling the world.